What's up, guys? We're back with Crypto Cartel live, TA and crypto market analysis, bringing you guys the best alpha, the newest narratives. This weekend, there's really never a dull moment in crypto. We had the birth of a completely new meta in the span of a week. Uh, an AI meme coin ran from zero to $500 million in the span of a week, basically, and it birthed a whole new meta this whole weekend. AI coins were popping off. AI meme coins were rugging, and we're here to update you guys on which coins we think may have legs, could continue running, because we do think this could be the next big thing in crypto. It is the big thing in crypto right now, and we're going to talk about whether it continues and which coins we're most bullish on. But of course, before we get into the fun stuff, we have to cover Bitcoin. That is the north star of the market, and we have to know what Bitcoin's going to do, and whether Bitcoin is looking bullish, whether it's looking bearish, and that's going to be the north star of where altcoins can go. So we have to cover that first. And with that said, let's get into it, Alex.
All right, welcome guys. So we, when did we do our last stream? By the way, Friday, right? I think it was Friday.
Yeah.
So since Friday, we had a really nice breakout. But right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to retest the 66.5 region. So for now, it's I think we're looking to hold support here, right? We did do a breakout. Maybe we want to retest, and then from there go sideways before we rip to the upside. However, we do have to think about the elections coming up. It's in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and that may cause a lot of volatility, right? So I think that we may pull back. I know Henry's scenario was a pullback a little lower back into the mid 60s, so that is possible. We may even see 60. It just depends on how the market's feeling and how we go on about the elections. So that is kind of the updates for Bitcoin. Overall, we had a bullish close on the weekly candle. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, we closed. It was bullish overall, but we still haven't closed above that 69,500 region, right? I think we were very close, but we haven't. It's very pivotal that we hold that 66 to 64 range to continue to the upside. And the week just started, so let's just see what happens and how this unfolds in the next few days. Henry, do you want to do an analysis on this? You're on mute, by the way.
I think definitely in wait and see mode. A lot of people were thinking this might be the breakout, and that was in my base case. You see my screen?
Yep, there you go.
Awesome. So I think we talked about on Friday. At least I gave a warning, and this is a qualitative indicator. But whenever everyone is unanimously bullish, it's just you've kind of run out of sellers, right? That's the out of buyers. Natural. That's the natural consequence of everyone being bullish. Everyone's already bought, so you're running out of buyers. All you have left is sellers, and you can kind of gauge Twitter sentiment that everyone's overly bullish, and that's why I said like you have to. These highs were really key to watch here because we did break out of the channel, and on Friday it did look like the start of a breakout, and I think it could still be the start of a breakout. You also have to keep in mind you have 1, 2, 3, 4 lower highs here, and there was just a lot of supply here, a lot of resistance, a lot of profit taking. So we have to work through that before we can continue to go higher. I do have a notification here at 66,000. I think would be a good spot to start scaling in if you are looking for an entry. And yeah, but overall, I think super bullish. If we go to the weekly, it was a pretty bullish close, but then right at the start of the new week today, we are seeing a pullback. So I think as long as you see a close, even if we close red, as long as you don't fall below like 63 or nothing crazy like that, things are still looking extremely bullish. Like the long-term trend is still bullish. So I think base case is this is probably like a retest, right? Like you had the initial breakout, you had uh, a testing of this resistance here, and now you're kind of building, hoping to continue this bullish market structure, make a higher low here, and move on to brighter days, right? So that's kind of my base case for Bitcoin. Nothing. I don't think there's anything unexpected. I do have this vertical yellow line, which is the U.S. elections. So I do,
Nice.
like Alex said, expect some volatility there. Alex, what do you think? How are you playing this into going into the election? Because I think,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
No, so one of the things that I'm expecting if we decide it's an outcome that is not positive for crypto, I could, and like I said, my worst case scenario, we may see maybe 60K to 59K. That's my worst case scenario, right? We do, so long as we don't break that, I think we're still bullish because we're still making higher highs, higher lows, sorry. And let's just say, like I said, if we, if we're not pro crypto at that point, then we are probably going to dip a lot. And, it's probably a good time to, I think it's perfect to around the elections to stay in cash at some point. That'll give us an opportunity to be able to adjust, right? Whether that's, a good outcome or a bad outcome. If it's a good outcome, it's going to pump, but you also have the retest to continue that run, right? So you're still not missing, but if there's a dump, there's also a possibility to 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 really deploy your money on the projects that you've been really wanting to, right? So that's my way to look at it. I will stay cash right around elections though. You should never know. And if we do break out, I'll buy the retest. So I'm prepping for both scenarios.
Yeah, I think if Trump wins, and I think this move in Bitcoin higher has coincided with Trump's odds of winning going up, and there's no question he's more bullish than Kamala for crypto. And I've had two scenarios basically playing out. Like the first one is this channel. We retested this mid channel and like flipping that mid is bullish, and we're on our bullish track. The other worst case scenario, I think if election night comes and if I had to put probabilities, I'd say like 90% like we're in this, 10% we're in this. But you always have to keep in mind worst case scenarios. If Kamala wins, I could see us retesting this green box here, the low
Mm-hmm.
50s. I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't take much leverage to get us back here. Like the market is uh there's people that build up leverage positions here. If they all get liquidated, I could see a wick down here, and I think that's like a great opportunity if it happens. I don't. That's not my base case. Uh,
Yeah.
so we just
But
have
I
to
think,
keep an eye on the odds and how things are developing there.
yeah, obviously I'm not very sure that we may hit what you said, but honestly, at this point, it could be a possibility. So I wouldn't get it out of the, out of the cards. It could be a possibility that we do dump that low, pull that whole, let's scare people, let's
Yeah,
have a panic sell, and then let's just rip up. It
and
could
maybe
be
we
it.
just wick to 60 or 59 and can
Yeah.
continue to go up. But just something to keep in mind. The other thing is,
Mhm.
if you notice where we rejected, it was the old all-time high. So it's really, to me, this is the key. This is the key level where we need to flip
Yeah,
that to continue being bullish, which
that's a good
was
point.
basically 69,000.
You know,
Uh, and that needs to be flipped. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna stay in the same range we've been staying at, right? So that's a key level to watch. I think we can go on to the rest of the market now. So if we look at alts on days like today, when Bitcoin's down 2%, what I like to do is just come to CoinGecko and sort by top performers, right? Uh, and I also look at worst performers. So like top performers, why? Because you want to see what's getting a bid even when the market's down. So weirdly, Atom is catching a bid. I'm not sure what happened there.
that was random.
Uh, yeah, that's usually worrisome. When Atom pumps, you're kind of near the end. Then there's Ape. They had some hype over the weekend over launching Ape Chain. So they're up 100% over the last days. Jasmine, but not really any big moves, right? Like these, there's no really rhyme or reason or theme. Just kind of looks like some project specific announcements. You have Helium, Jupiter, Solana. I think this is definitely something to pay attention to because as we're going to talk about later, the AI, there was a lot of AI related volume and attention, and it all took place on Solana, right? So Solana is the chip at the casino. It is the chip you have to buy to play in the casino. So maybe we take a look at Solana a little later, and then in the worst performers, you have WIF, which is interesting because it's supposed to be Solana beta, right? And you have Celestia and Ondo. So again, it's kind of all over the place. So if we go flip to the over the week, ApeCoin is up 100%. Dogecoin, we were doing some analysis on Dogecoin, I think 2 weeks ago now, right, Alex?
Yeah, it sounds right.
And I think we were pretty bullish on it, and we were looking at some scenarios to take entries. I definitely missed an entry, but I think any pullbacks like Doge is kind of showing its hand here that it's going to be one of the future leaders. Jupiter's up 11%, and then Maker's one of the worst performers. Tau is cooling off, which is interesting because Tau is the preferred AI exposure in crypto, right? So some of these AI meme coins might be stealing some of the thunder. And you have Say down 12%. So maybe another large cap to look at for an entry because we were bullish on that. So that's the top 100. If we go to the top 300, this brings in a lot more lower market caps. Maybe there's some theme emerging that we can spot here. So over the last day, Simon's Cat. Do you know Simon's Cat?
Yeah, I knew Simon's Cat. It went crazy when it went on almost all exchanges. So it's been one of those coins that's been traded quite a lot.
It's a cat coin, right? Yeah. So I think cat coins. I'm definitely bullish on cat meme coins. Then you have Goat, which is the AI meme coin we were talking about in our last stream, and it's had a crazy journey in just the last 3 days that we're gonna talk about. But basically died and came back to life all in one weekend. Checks I'm not familiar with. Flog. It's funny to say Flog. 220 million. It's people are saying this is the Pepe of Solana. We should actually look at Flog.
I've had a lot of people that I follow. They're looking at Flog and they're very bullish on it.
I actually haven't looked too much into the community, but I do like the art, and I think it's like differentiated enough to potentially make a run.
Yeah,
and it's showing strength for sure. It's up, and then Giga Chad. That's one of the Murad tickers. Then the last 7 days, Deep Book. No idea what that is.
Deep Book is actually from. It's funny you say that. It's a Sui. It's a Sui Dex aggregator, I believe. I'm not sure, but I saw this one at a 33 million market cap, and I missed the 4x on this one, which kind of really pisses me off. But yeah, so I saw the Deep Book. It was very bullish.
Well, actually, it hasn't been around for 30 days, so I think this is just the outperformer the last 30 days is ApeCoin. Okay, and I don't think anyone was expecting ApeCoin except like maybe the insiders that knew they were announcing their chain. And then DYDX, I think their CEO came back. So a lot of different narratives, right? If we go to the categories, let's see. Over the last day, gaming is making gaming governance, gaming utility.
Think. I'll pause really quick. Think about what we just talked about prior to the stream. It's foreshadowing, right?
Yeah. So we had a big. If you've been watching the news, Off the Grid did a pretty successful launch. Off the Grid is a Avalanche chain based first-person shooter, kind of like COD, and they issue a lot of their NFTs and in-game assets on Avalanche. So gaming has definitely been one of the underperformers this cycle, and it looks like it's starting to finally get some love. So that's definitely a trend that we want to keep an eye on. And then the last 7 days, look, they made an AI meme category. Nice.
That's it. That's what we needed. We were talking about this Friday.
So if we look at, the market cap for AI memes, it's the same market cap as WIF. and they have Turbo at the top. I think Turbo, the idea of it was created by AI, so that makes it count. We sorted by volume. Goat is doing more volume than Turbo. So
Yeah,
Goat
completely.
definitely worth a look. And then you have Non, which is another one we're gonna look at. I mean, look, the volume. Here's the thing you should be paying attention to. Like the volume is where attention is, and the volume is where you want to be playing. So if you're thinking about like which coins do I need to look at, Goat, Turbo, Non, and Fartcoin, which is related to Goat. We're gonna talk about it later too. And this is where the volume is. This is where the attention is. Okay. If we look at performance, Goat as the leader of the meta is obviously outperforming. So it's definitely what we should be paying attention to. Trending coins, we kind of already covered this. And then top gainer, Luna by Virtuals. Never heard of it. It's ranked 755. Top gainer is GOAT. So, there's definitely a theme here, which is AI meme coins. We were looking at them on Friday. We'll probably look at them today because that's where the volume and that's where the attention is. Anything to add there, Alex?
No, I think spot on. If you're looking at the top gainers, definitely a lot of meme and AI meme coins. Simple as that.
Yeah. Another thing I like to look at is Velo. So we can do top gainers. And what we're trying to do here is see where the strength is in the market. Even when Bitcoin's down, especially when Bitcoin's down, we want to see what's catching a bid. So we can start off with the last day. Alpha and Perp. So those are, I think those are like DeFi. And we can do sector performance. So gaming is outperforming, which is interesting. So that's 2 times we see gaming outperform, right? Over
It's
the
already
last
a
day.
sign. Yeah.
L1s are also doing well. L1s tend to hold up better on pullbacks. Then you have memes. So I think these are the 3 sectors you want to be paying attention to: gaming, L1s, and memes. And that's for the day. If we look at the week, how did Bitcoin do for the week? I think it's up for the week, right? It's up 2.6% for the week. So we want to see what's outperforming that. Ape is related to gaming. I just remember that. Like they're building a gaming like metaverse thing, right? So
Yeah, something like
the
that.
hype is building up there. And then for sectors, gaming is the top performing sector, and you have memes as the second, and L1s. So we already know we're bullish memes and L1. So it might be time to start doing some research on some gaming coins, right?
Yeah.
And I think a while ago. So why don't we start with the gaming coins first, and then we go into the AI stuff. Because I think a while ago we were looking at this coin, right? In one of
Yeah.
our first streams, we were looking at Ancient 8. And if I recall, I think they have some pretty strong backers.
Yeah.
So let's just start with what this is before we get into the chart. So Ancient 8 chain is a gaming focused community driven Ethereum layer 2. So it's a gaming L2, kind of like IMX. Looks like it's got some decent traction here for games in the ecosystem. And they got some big names here, right? Pantera, Coinbase Ventures, Mechanism Capital, Dragonfly. Really like top tier investors there. So let's take a look, just do a little bit more research on this. So Gaming L2 focused on the OP stack. It's trading at a $20 million valuation, 90 million FTV. Looks like it launched in July, pumped a lot the first couple of days and made its all-time high and really came down quite a bit. So this could be a potential entry. And you got you got Pantera in there, like a lot of names here, right? A lot of good solid names. not on many exchanges, but is on Coinbase, which Coinbase doesn't list just anything, right?
Yeah.
Mostly they just list stuff that they invest in. And then vesting, it looks like we don't have any unlocks until 87 days, so 2 months. So it looks like a solid gaming project, right? I like when you look at gaming, I like to invest in. I don't like to invest in specific games. I like to look at like what's the infrastructure that the gaming is going to be built on. What do you think about that strategy?
Sorry, can you say that again? You're breaking up.
Like instead of investing the gaming, in the game itself, like taking a risk of like let me find the game that pumps. Like just bet on the infrastructure that's
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
gaming's going to be built on.
Absolutely, because you don't know which gaming is actually going to succeed or not, but you want to bet on the
Exactly.
infrastructure that's going to assist the gaming, and if it's successful, I mean that's bank, right?
Yeah. So if we look at something like an IMX is similar to it's a competitor to A8. It's a gaming L2, and it's at a 2.5 billion market cap, 3 billion FTV. You can see it's been underperforming,
Yeah,
but that's kind of the upside that you have on something like a A8. And I bet you IMX has a lot of similar backers as Ancient 8. Let's check that. Coinbase Ventures invested in them too, right?
I think so. Yeah,
And you have Animoca. So Pantera didn't get in these in IMX, but you have Coinbase Ventures also. So
and it performed well.
Which one?
IMX did perform well. I remember at some point it did.
Yeah, I mean it was it had its bull run, right? It ran up crazy in the last cycle. So I think if we're looking for we already know we're bullish gaming, we already know people are bidding gaming coins, and if we look at what the outperformers are, nothing has really moved that much. I don't know if this is like everything in gaming, but Ancient 8, it says Ancient 8 is one of the top performers today at 6%.
Exactly.
And if we look at market caps, it's at 20 billion.
20 million.
20 million. Naka's at 80. Kate coin. So a lot of upside left, right? And if we look at the market cap that IMX went to in the last cycle, so this is interesting. If you look at like the chart, right, it's really similar. Maybe we'll just do price.
Exactly. Look at that accumulation.
Like crazy hyped launch, right? A8, crazy hyped launch. Tops out at 70 million. This one topped out at 1.5 billion. Sideways accumulation here. Sideways accumulation. And then it goes, gaming has a run, right? Like a crazy run. Like it goes from 200 million, a little shy under 200 million, all the way to almost 5 billion. So yeah, 4.8 billion. What's that what's that for a multiple? Like 30x?
Yeah, sounds about right. 20 to 30.
8 divided by 2, 24x. So I don't think Ancient 8 does something like this, but I mean a 10x is only 200 million from here, right?
To me, it gets to $1. That's minimum. That's a 10x.
You want to do it by price?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's the same thing, really.
I already had this
email, so it's like
already had this range drawn out. I mean, it's at the bottom of the range. It's starting to curl up. You haven't got. Let's see if there's any bullish triggers here. You haven't really gotten any bullish EMA trend flips. Just a lot of chop, right? But clearly a floor here at I'd rather do market caps. It's easier to think about than token price. So clearly a floor at 18 million. And I mean, I think the risk with something like this is you're gonna risk it continuing to go sideways, but on a week like this, when gaming is really starting to catch a bid, I think it's potentially time to like look into buying something like this. Like your risk is, let's just say it undercuts these lows, so like stop out at 16 million. But this move here is just like pretty inefficient, right? Like in terms of like there's not much resistance. And if you're talking about like going, maybe you hold it as a cyclical hold, you're looking at a like a 3x to all-time high. And if it becomes one of the stars in gaming, you know, even higher than that. So risk to reward is great here. Yeah, I'm bullish. I'm bullish on this. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, here, let me share my screen really quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as I shared this with you earlier today, one of the things to me that's bullish is the bigger time frames, right? So we're already bullish on the stochastics and on the RSI. So this thing is about to get a pretty nice breakout. Right now, it's currently at resistance in the daily time frame. As you can see, there's heavy resistance there, but on a pop on the news or anything, this thing is gonna quickly gap up to, I would say, maybe the 11 cents, and then maybe stay around there. But I don't see this going any lower soon. Your risk reward is 10%, right back to the 0.0 to the 8 cents. And then overall, my target for this one is at least $1 minimum, right? So that's how I'm seeing this one.
10x.
Yeah, I'm seeing this as a 10x, 100%.
Yeah. And it's just before you continue, I want to make a point on the bullish announcements, because if these guys are smart, they've been holding back their ammo on bullish announcements until market conditions turn around, until gaming starts running as a narrative, because they want the biggest bang for their buck for those announcements, right? So if there's any partnerships, any big deals that they close, I guarantee you they're going to be announced within this week when AI is having its moment in the sun. And the thing about crypto is the charts show you the news before, not only because of TA, but also because there's so much insider front running. Whereas like when you start to see some green candles, especially on a red day when the market's going down, it's because the insiders are buying in anticipation of that announcement. I mean, that's the theory of mine. Like, I don't have any data to back that up, but I've just seen over and over again the chart start to perk up when something is about to be announced. And you're like, oh, that's random. Like, why is it moving? And then 2 days later, there's a big bullish announcement, right? So I think that could be potentially what we're seeing, but definitely a gem. I mean, at 20 million for like the backers they have, and
exactly.
The only thing that makes me bearish is that they're an L2, but even that, like L2s, it's a great contrarian bet because L2s have been pretty unloved, and anytime you have an opportunity to be bullish, something that the market isn't bullish on, I think there's more upside because just not many market participants have priced in a success of an L2 like this, right?
Yeah.
So I
and
think
really quickly,
a good one to have for like gaming exposure for sure. If that's a sector you want to be bullish on.
Because if you think about it, gaming hasn't really done anything yet. There hasn't been major moves on that, but
there hasn't been a reason for it to pump.
Right. Unless something comes out, I'd rather be prepared, right?
What was off the grid? Off the grid is the first major bullish thing that happened for gaming this cycle.
Yeah. So here's a chart that reminds me a lot of A8, and it's the Pyre chart, Vulcan Forge. There were also a gaming coin, but I mean there was just a lot of consolidation before it did the breakout, right? And it did not too bad. It did like a 5x, I believe. No, it did more of like a 3x here, but again, similar to that consolidation, right?
But I think you have this is an older chart. There's probably a newer one.
It's probably a newer one. Yeah, let me check.
Do Binance.
No, it's the same thing. Yeah, so it had a breakout, but again, it's one of those things that I'm talking about is that consolidation, right? And those consolidations usually break out really nicely. So I'm going to position myself some point today or tomorrow, and wait it out. It looks good to me. I like it, so we'll cook with it.
Yeah, and we weren't even planning on covering gaming too much this stream, but it just
Yeah.
looked like the market. You have to listen to what the market is telling you, right? And if the market's bidding gaming,
Yeah, I mean,
like you should already have your watch list ready to pull the trigger on the ones that look the best, because you've already done the research to position when the time comes for that narrative to be hot in the market, right? So I
yeah.
think Ancient 8 is definitely a solid one. I'll probably look this week, see if there's another one. Let's take a quick look at a Super, actually, because Super is another one I see.
Yeah. Hey,
having
can
a
you
lot
check?
of-
Can you check your WhatsApp really quick?
Yeah, sure.
While I take a look at Super here, let's do Super. Oh wow, this chart's amazing. Yeah, I mean, Super has got this beautiful shoulder, head and shoulder. We have had, let's see, support regions, and I mean, wow, this is looking incredible.
So let me give you the background on Super. Like Elio
Jesus.
Trades and
Uh-huh.
Alex Becker, right?
Yeah.
Alex Becker, Elio Trades is like basically like they're the two biggest, not only just gaming but crypto influencers. I think by views they're some of the biggest. And Elio, he founded this project. He's been working on it for years, and their big thesis is they think gaming is going to be the mainstream breakthrough for blockchain. So he built this O1 to basically as like an ecosystem of all the gaming, all the blockchain gaming projects. Uh, that's like my surface level knowledge of it, right? But this thing's performed like obviously you can see pretty well.
There's no way.
I mean, it looks like a W, right?
I'm sorry. No, this is pretty. I don't like. This is probably one of the most, if not bullish charts, or it's just saying I'm kidding. But this is insane. I mean, we're talking about 6 cents all the way out to 150, back at support at like 43 cents, and we're back at 127. If we do take the target of the shoulder, head and shoulder, and by the way, if you guys are new, this is a pattern that usually breaks out the head all the way out to the head all the way out to the shoulder, right? This is talking about like a 30x. This honestly throws me off. It may not happen, but if there's some insane news and
look, like
project,
I'm looking at the top gaming projects by market cap. So you have IMX at 3 billion, at 2.5 billion, ApeCoin at 1 billion, Gala at 950 million, Beam at 900 million. So in the top 10, Super versus 10, and they're at half a billion. And if this is their first bull market, and you have crypto is a game of attention, and when you have one of the biggest YouTubers constantly kind of converting people to that chain and advocating for it as the founder, there's no question he's going to be able to maintain attention on it, and it's a good candidate to have like one of those crazy runs, especially I think it could be a leader for this category, especially considering that most of the gaming projects are older. Now what I'm checking now is when did Super come out, and it looks like it did come out in 2021.
Yeah,
and it ran up to 422. And it came all the way back down to like 10 cents, 13 cents.
Cannot believe that.
From 2022 to 2023, and then now it's back at $1. So I think they had a lot of vesting. If I'm looking like, yeah, let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this is the classic case of like, look at price. Yeah, you see my screen?
Jesus, I mean,
like it probably came out like, right around the bull, right? Caught right at the end, tail end, and it was at 422. But if we look at market cap, it actually because of the circulating tokens, it only got to 300 million. Okay, like 400 million maybe at the top. But I think what you had here was a case of investors really in profit, right? Like they launched right at the tail end of the market. They probably didn't have a lot built out in terms of like an ecosystem or just traction, and you had a lot of investors cash out. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not sure, right? But if we look at like from a market cap perspective, it's about to reach its all-time high market cap. Uh, so it's just something to keep in mind. Like maybe the vesting is, and then combine that with the bear market. Like you get this crazy period of underperformance and sideways from May 2022 to basically when the bull market started in September 2023. But the fact that it came back, right? Like not that a lot of projects never come back. A lot of projects never make it back. And I think there was a rebrand. I mean, basically they pivoted and were able to bring this thing back to life. So, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. And then especially with you align the TAs with the fundamentals. I think I'm going to dive a little deeper on it exactly like if they have any catalysts coming up. But I think definitely another one large cap to keep an eye on.
Yeah, let's wrap this one up. But like I said, off the bat with just the technical analysis, we're looking at a $42 coin. And I don't know if that's realistic or not, but that's just
you got to go into 40 billion.
I mean, that's what the TA says. The TA may tell you that, it may not. I mean, but it's just looking very bullish, right? So you want to move on to what the meat of the show is, to the AI meme.
Yeah, this just became a gaming show, but just to finish up the thought, Axie was the big runner last time, and it went to 10 billion. So I don't know if there's going to be a coin, but by FDV that was probably a lot higher, right? So, but definitely might be time to start paying attention to gaming. Now, the main meta that's happening right now is obviously AI meme coins. The first one of which is GOAT, and I've personally, I think this is one of the trickiest coins, if not the trickiest I've ever traded. I believe on Friday I said I was bullish on it and went in pretty big, and I think my average entry was around 270, and it went up almost 100%, but peaked out at 540. Some things came out where people were like, "Oh, this is just a dude pretending to be AI." The AI also made an error, made a spelling mistake in one of the tweets. So all of that ended up with a massive crash up until yesterday, down 65%. But you got to remember, like, this is, at the end of the day, this is a meme coin, and meme coins are extremely volatile. You have to be prepared for this type of price action when you invest. And I think you had a different fib than me, Alex. I'm interested to see what you had, but I had a couple different ones, but I ended up landing on this one, which is basically from the origin. And my plan, I basically round tripped my profits, and I sold here at 317 because I saw this bear flag basically, and I had been using this trend. I talked about the trends on Friday, and it flipped bearish here. And when I saw it couldn't get back above the averages, I basically said, okay, we're in a new trend. It's in a downtrend. And not only that, it's doing a bear flag right here, right? Like clearly. And if you do bear flag from like the impulse, I think it was around here. Or no, actually a little lower. But I had it going down to I didn't think it could get as low as it did, 150. But I had it going down to 200s, and I'm like, at 200, I sold half my bag. I'm like, I'm buying back at 200 because I didn't know if it was going to go up. So I'm like, if it goes up, I'm still exposed. If it goes down to 200, like I think it is, I get in cheaper, right? But, crypto, the market waits for no one. And while I was asleep, basically, it was dumping. It was at like 240 when I went to sleep. It's probably good I was asleep for all this, honestly. I might have panic sold. And then today, just a crazy recovery of from 150, 146 to it just peaked at 460. So a 2x in a matter of 6 hours, probably. And now, honestly, I don't have any idea what it's going to do. Like, but I will say the trend has flipped bullish, and I'm considering adding here on some retests of this trend. But like I said, this thing's like shaked me out. Like, it's made me buy back in, like, just chopped all over, right? So, Alex, I'd love to get your take. Maybe I have a little bag bias here, and I'm not seeing it clearly.
No, I think that was a great trade. The one that you ended up doing. Overall, it was there's a lot of conviction there, so I do admire the conviction and laying it to the ground. But so essentially, I had this one in this fib from here, right? And our last impulse was out of the 10 cents, which I believe is the 100 million market cap. And then from there, we did this crazy run. And so I had my pullback here, right? But I was also looking at the levels of 16 just because it needed to fill, right, to touch. But in addition to that, I'll break down the little
So you have
micros
the
here.
fib from the last downtrend to basically when it didn't make any more new lows. Is it
exactly
like any more significant lows? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, so that would be on the bigger aspect of it. But when I started seeing some bearish signs, first of all, the psychological levels of 500 million market cap, then the shoulder, head and shoulder to the downside, right? And I mean, as I showed earlier, the shoulder, head and shoulder goes to exactly the head, right? So I think it's like around here, right? So we take that. And then I had this one come all the way down here, right? So it's fairly, and this is what made me.
Before you move on, I want to add on that right shoulder, there was, and this is kind of where I messed up because I was kind of just focused on trading. I wasn't keeping up with the news. On that right shoulder is basically right when bearish things started coming out about the project, like how the AI didn't buy the tokens itself and it made a spelling error. So at that point, things were looking shaky, not only on the charts, but like fundamentally, right? People were losing confidence in the project. So it's just funny, right? Like the TA, it kind of tells you what's happening, it tells you what's going to happen, and then the news almost confirms it.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, funny enough, maybe the news was here, when that happened. But even then, when it was making the right shoulder, what happened is we broke structure, right? We kept going, we retested here, and then we kept going, and then here we broke structure. Which, if you start zooming in, what's it doing? It broke down, and what does it do? It retests, right? And if you can't see that, let me actually make this a little bigger. So what do? We retest, right? We wick all the way to there, and then we just continue to the downside, right? So it's still all the bear, in my opinion, and just looking at the TA in general, because I'm letting the TA talk to me. I don't have actually an opinion, but what I'm seeing from the chart is that, right? We retest, and that just brings us all the way down, a cascading. But I have 3 layers on this one, right? Then there's that. And then in addition to that, I like to use a parallel downtrend. And I've been doing parallel downtrends for the last year or 2, I would say. And they're quite uncanny, to be honest with you, because it, again, like look at it's, if you're looking to pick up, I mean, these are one of the amazing trends that I like to use, right? So from top to bottom, and I keep adjusting this as the price is going down. But once, earlier I had it down to here, right? And then this one's a little higher, which made sense because we're touching, right? We're touching here, we're touching here. But this one here, it was like, oh, we're about to break out of the flag, but oh, just kidding. We're going to continue to dump, right? And also the stochastics was also telling you that, right? In terms of bearish divergence. So I readjusted that, and I was like, all right, so this is what it's looking like, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, I mean, it's kind of crazy. We have exactly that. If you zoom in, you have that wick exactly to that point, right? It went all the way out to that 140 million market cap, right? And then from there it ripped. So I was up last night. I did do 2 buys at around 17,
and 18, right? Because I wasn't sure if it was going to go down there. So I was just front running it. And I ended up riding this one up all the way to here, which what I was expecting from here was a little pullback down to here, right back to support and then continue. But I mean, again, people want this coin so badly and it's so volatile that they were just, they were like, no, we're going to buy it. This is good enough and we're going to move on. So no, I mean, one of these coins, it just doesn't give you that opportunity for pullbacks. And then what I'm seeing right now, we did break this trend. There's also this other one if we want to look at it. Well, at least I've been looking at this one. There's these wicks, right? And there's a few trends that I was looking at to break. One was here that we ended up breaking out of and we continued up. But this is the other one. I want to see us essentially close above this, break above the 430 million market cap. I'd like to see us close above there to continue to the upside. And then we'll maybe meet with more other problems here. But right now here, in my opinion, it's showing a bit of some bearishness. Maybe this could go sideways and then continue to go to the upside. But this is very interesting. Maybe hold this ground here, the 0.38, which is at 360 million market cap. I would say this would be a really good place to hold and not fall under, right? Because this is support. If you look at it, right, support. Almost got rejected here, but no. So that's what I'm looking at for this one. Potentially, maybe it would not surprise me if this one cools down and we see it back into the 20s, into the 200 million market cap. But that's just what I could potentially see long term. A lot of the coins that I've seen that have this sort of price action, they do come down. But again, just saying that if, this is one of those bullish coins that people don't want to wait. I mean, we could see this bounce off the 618.5. It's hard to tell as of now, but I'd be very bullish if it closed above the 36 million or 36 cents. Stay around here, go sideways, and then continue to the upside. I think that'd be amazing. But then also start looking at different levels of support, right? My other level of support, if we go down, is 260 million. There's like chop here, and then again, this would be the other range. So that's what I'm seeing for GOAT. Again, in my opinion, this is still a bullish coin regardless. If it comes lower, great, buy some more, right? But overall, I think that this coin, if it comes back down here, everyone's going to bid. They understand that the whole
they already saw it recover like so fast, right? Like
I mean, we did what? Like we did from the bottom to the top, we did a 2x within a day. Like
yeah,
go ahead.
My take is I think these people are mid-curving it. I think this is I think Ansem tweeted like this is the first coin that left curve and right curve both get behind, because the left curve is like AI meme coin, ape. The right curve, you could see like institutional hedge funds. If they're going to allocate to a meme coin, they're going to allocate to one that hasn't already pumped, that has a differentiator, which is the AI, right? And even though the AI agent itself isn't transacting, you have to, what you're betting on is that this story grows in popularity, that this can be the first of one of the leading metas in crypto, of one of the new leading metas, because there hasn't been this cycle, there hasn't been a new, really like any breakthroughs, anything new that got people excited. And I think the mind share of this, like it got like 50% of all mind share in Twitter. So I think something that's able to get this much attention to it and this much volume, I wouldn't bet on this dying off. I'm taking the opposite of that bet, and I think something like this has legs to get to $1 billion or maybe even higher, because it's something simple to understand. And again, I said left curve retail can buy something like this, as can institutional hedge funds. And how many meme coins or even altcoins in general can you say that about? I think very few. So my target is still over a billion. I'm looking to buy on dips. I'm looking to add. I didn't get to add on the dip to 200 or below like I wanted, but uh, I think when something shows you this kind of strength, you should not be fading it. That's my personal take.
Yeah, no, you're right. Remember, I think history repeats itself, right? As we were talking earlier, it was a new meta. What's the new toy of the cycle? And I mean, of this cycle so far, it was AI and memes. They were the outperformers in
Separate,
general.
yeah,
Separate, exactly. Now together, think about. I mean, that's just something to think about. That it's going to suck a lot of liquidity from other places, in my opinion. And then take it into Goat, making Goat being the next Doji, right? So I personally I could see Goat being maybe a 10 billion coin.
absolutely. I could definitely see it. I'll take that bet. I don't think I could take that bet comfortably for anything this low. I could bet on like a whiff or Pepe or maybe even Popcat getting to like a 10 billion, but those are already over a billion, right? And this is at 300 million, 400 million now.
Yeah,
So still pretty over a 20x return. And it hasn't gotten any listings. It's still doing a ton of volume. So I think it's a matter of time, really. But it's gonna shake you. It's gonna shake your conviction. It's gonna test your conviction. I know my conviction was tested, and this is the importance of having a thesis before you go into this kind of trade, because there's trades and there's investments, right? And a trade, you you have your invalidations, but an invalidation for an investment for me is different than a trade, because the invalidation of an investment is the thesis being uh, changed or being wrong. So that's kind of why I didn't get shaken out when things were going against me, because price has nothing to do with your thesis. Price is just the market realizing your thesis is correct. So you have to have that coming in, and that's kind of how you build conviction around something like this. Now the other one that I saw that was ripping, and maybe we can wrap up with this one, is Genon.
yeah. So Genon, let's do a quick look at this one. Mine thing is a little messy, but
This
let me
it
get rid
has
of
emerged as the second. I think it's the second biggest coin in this meta, this AI meme coin meta. Now I'm not gonna lie, I don't exactly understand what it is. I don't think many people do, but it is the second coin in the AI meme coin meta. And from my understanding, it came from a Twitter account that's pretty relevant in the AI development scene. So this does seem to be maybe potentially the SHIB to the Doge that is Goat. So let's take a look and see if it's looking bullish.
Yeah. So if we look back to from the impulse to the, I mean, let's see. I mean, we could say that's the impulse. We could say the impulse is a little lower here because that's where we started making higher highs and we never made lower lows, right? So this is the big. It's just again, it depends on how you look at it. You can look at it there or you can look at it here, right? But regardless, if we do remove this fib, this was still an area to fill again, right? That support here. And that's exactly what we did. We wicked down here, which is close to the 618. And if you let's see, even if we bring the fib here, it's close enough, right? The fib isn't always going to be perfect, but it's still close enough to get us to that area, that 786. And if we're looking at, there's a price gap here that needs to be filled. It's exactly what it filled it, and we got to see this at about a market cap of 40 million, right? It's 4 cents. And then from there, this thing just went crazy, right? We went up all the way to, I mean, same thing. It did a 2x right from bottom.
Yeah.
And, right now we're hitting that support here. I'm sorry, that resistance, right? We wicked into it and then we just, we keep coming lower and lower.
one of the things that I was looking at maybe to potentially, add in or take a trade, essentially was down here. But I think we're breaking down, right? So I think that says something right here. Right, we're still fighting with this region. Let me get rid of the fib. So right now we're fighting with this region, right? So we have a touches here, touches here. Right now we're fighting to try to get above it and to continue to the upside, because there is a shoulder, head and shoulder to the upside on that end. But I think it's going to be probably a breakdown from here, and levels to expect again for this one. I have it here on my yellow line. If we don't pull through back
What is
into,
that? It's like 80 mil.
yeah.
I can
So
get
right
back
now,
in where I sold.
yeah, then you get a second chance to get back in. So I can see anywhere between these ranges, right? If we do come down, if you want to bet, you can start betting at 8 and then, buy in a little more down here. But right now, I'm looking at this area here, which is a support area overall, right? Over here. So we did support, we closed it, we came back up, right? So this is very important to close above this one. If not, we'll probably be seeing it down here and then down here. But I'm most likely bullish within this range between 80 million and 60 million if we don't hold this area. But overall, this is looking like a bigger shoulder, head and shoulder. People are looking bullish. Maybe they're looking to get into the second GOAT, right?
Yeah.
Into that Ethereum to the Bitcoin, into that Shiba to the Doji, right? So this is what it's looking like so far. I don't know if I've seen this one be or go on any exchanges. So let me just really quickly. Yeah,
That's
it's on Maxi and it's on Bitmart so far, right?
And I just saw it was doing 100 million in volume too. So
that's insane, dude. Yeah,
that's definitely got exchanges watering at the mouth to get a piece of those fees.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that's the analysis for this one. I think we still need to see how price is going to change, how it's going to act, how people are going to feel sentiment wise for the rest of the week for this one. But I still believe that in general, GOAT is extremely bullish. This one, we still have to see how it plays out. We still have to see if there's any correlation between which we are seeing some, right? Correlation between GOAT and GNON, right? So there is some there when we're going up and down. We're seeing some relevance there, right? So do you have any thoughts on GNON? And then afterwards, I want to do one last one, which is Fartcoin, and I think that's one to look at.
No, I think GNON, I just need to do a little bit more work to understand it. A lot of people present it as like the counter to GOAT, like they're making it out to be like more than an AI coin, making it out to be like almost like a belief system. And it's a little confusing, the meta, but I can't deny that it is acting as beta to GOAT. Just as GOAT dumped, this dumped. When it's recovering, this recovers. But the thing I struggle with, like buying a beta like this, is why wouldn't I just buy the leader, right? It's less risk, and it did it outperform? It basically performed the same as GOAT. So,
right.
But I think Fartcoin, it could be a better beta. So let's take a look at it.
Honestly, I think this is one of the ones that I may bid on more than GNON. So it's a patience game, right? But we just did. I'll just get rid of this.
Well, let's take a look at where was it at yesterday when GOAT started dumping, and if it held up. If it had right now, just off the bat, it has a better structure than GOAT. So when GOAT started dumping, when it broke that green trend you have, when was that?
So it was at so this basically did the lows at 11, and it's adding up exactly. They both did the lows at 11.
11 what?
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
Yeah, 11 p.m. last night.
Okay, so it did make a new low, and then it went up 3x, right? It went from 10 to 40 mil.
Yep, that's exactly it.
That's good beta to me. You're giving me a 3x when GOAT gave me a 2x. Whereas like GNON, I'm taking on more risks to get the same return. And I think Fartcoin is interesting because it was the first coin that Truth Terminal, which is the creator or the one that's shilling GOAT, the first idea it had for a meme coin. So if you think about like a true beta, people are gonna want something with good proximity to Truth Terminal, and I think Farcoin does provide that. And I got to say the chart is looking really really bullish, much healthier
Yeah.
chart structure than
So
the other two for sure.
yeah, so it's one of the things that we were talking about earlier. It's, you know, the market's going to decide who's going to run, right? The market's going to say, well, Genon has like a good cult following, it's got good calls, but you know what you said, who's closer to Truth Terminal, and that's Farcoin. Funny enough, and I think that's why it's going to be interesting to see the next few days how price action plays, because everyone's gonna decide, all right, like I'm gonna sell Genon for Farcoin, because you know what you said, or because there's more upside, right? Right now, Genon's at 100 million market cap, Farcoin is at 30 million market cap. It's funny to say that every time, but what I saw was I remember you had sent this to me when it was ranging around here, and what I didn't like about it personally was the fact that it was ranging from 2 million to 10 million, back to 2 million, back to 10 million, back to 3
I got
million.
shaken out. I got in at 10 million, and I got out at 8, and I was feeling like a genius because it was at 5. Next time I look at it, it's over 30 million. So,
But that's the thing, yeah, and that's the crazy part here. And I think the real moment to get in was, I mean, it's just kind of it's hard to tell for this one because again, the market's trying to decide, and that's the whole let me buy sell. It's this whole up and down, right? The market's
yeah,
trying to decide, do we choose it or not, and then eventually they said, yeah, you know, we're gonna hold
this
it.
matter has been the trickiest to trade because it's so new that information is getting reflected in real time in the chart, and sometimes that information is either not right or it's an overreaction. And you really, if you're trading these, you have to kind of be glued to Twitter and the charts, because I was trading these this weekend and the volatility was crazy. So I think if you are skilled and you kind of know what you're doing, there's definitely money to be made. Or you just buy like what you think is going to be a leader. Like if you think that's Farcoin or if you think that's GOAT, if you make a thesis around GOAT, making it to the big leagues above a billion of meme coins, and you know nothing's going to make it if GOAT doesn't make it. So that's a bet you can take.
Definitely.
So I think I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, actually, I did want to add something to this one. So some of the levels that I'm looking at for this one is we're gonna do a bigger consolidation here, right? Kind of like what we did up here. We went up, down, up, down, up, down, and then we ripped. This is kind of like the macro, right? So these two things are the tops as far as I'm seeing it. So I will be potentially looking for an entry, right? We have a top here and these two tops here, right? Then we make the higher high, kind of similar to this part, right? And then we make the higher high. So one of the places where I'm looking at is this trend here, basically at 20 to 23 million market cap. And then the last would be at around these trends here, which is about like maybe 17 to 15 million market cap, right? So these are potentials to really get into this one. And I like these prices because again, what are we doing? We're only making higher highs every time. We haven't made a lower low. And so it wouldn't surprise me as people are starting to understand more like you said, the ecosystem of AI meme. It's a brand new one. People might just leave Non and they might just go into Farcoin, you know, or people might rotate from GOAT and go into Farcoin, right? So there's a lot to really look at in terms of price action and volume. But you know, this one had 37 million in volume over the last 24 hours. But I am seeing this double top here, come back down here, potentially back down to the yellow line. And last but not least, I mean, look at that. That's uncanny, right? 786 comes down to there. So the yellow line, right? So I'll probably look to bid here pretty heavy. That's my opinion. And everything we say here is not financial advice. But, you know, the 786 is usually where people like to buy. And I think this is potentially one where I'll probably ape in. And I think that's it. I think that's all we got.
I think we're going to be giving real-time updates in our Telegram. So we'll add that to the description. And if you're wondering, you know, when we're taking these trades, what we're seeing, in real time. That's all in our free Telegram. So appreciate you guys watching. Give a like and subscribe. And I think that's it. Anything else you want to add, Alex?
No, it's good. We'll be back tomorrow with more information. So, make sure to follow us.
Yeah, we're going live at 3 p.m. every day. So 3 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I mean, we got to look into these AI coins, man. Could be the future SHIB and Doge here.
Yeah, be future millionaire. So don't fade on that, right?
Oh yeah. All right.